Vanakkam Dohadevan, everyone. Wonderful to be with you today. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vindvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We will share the screen. First topic. There we go. Our screen should say first topic. And it's a variation. First time we've done this. We're going to look at the same subject we did last time, but in a slightly different way. Thought you'd enjoy this approach. Oh, 3 ways to achieve enduring happiness is the pub desk we looked at, and it's a variation on that. That was given in 2011 at Chinmaya Mission in Houston. This is a photo of their Shiva temple. Sri Samyakashi Shivalaya, Houston. Interesting looking structure, huh? Totally modern in design, that's for sure. And this is a photo of me walking from the temple to the lecture hall, traditional way. Then we have a photo of me with the center's Acharya, Gaurangbai Nanavati, and on the right a photo of his wife, Acharya Srimat Darshana Nanavati. They're widely known for their unusual emphasis on punctuality. In other words, they're not believers of Indian Standard Time, which is everything starts 15 minutes late and gets another 15 minutes late every hour. Indian Standard Time, that's my personal definition. So if their talk starts at 10, they lock the doors at 10, and if you come late, you cannot get in. Pretty strict, but it's something that Gurudeva did on some occasions when he didn't want the vibration to be disturbed by people constantly joining. You just can't build the same force field among a group if people are joining it after you start all the time. So the talk started by reading the motto and mission statement of Chinmaya Mission. The motto: to give maximum happiness to the maximum number for the maximum time. Interesting wording. Anyway, it's all about happiness for lots of people. And the mission statement. Our mission is to provide to individuals from any background the wisdom of Vedanta and the practical means for spiritual growth and happiness again, enabling them to become positive contributors to society. So I figured that happiness was common to both their motto and their mission statement, therefore it was a safe topic that they'd all enjoy. It's always a challenge to find a topic that works in working with a group whose philosophy differs from yours in some ways. Throughout the talk, I'll be including quotes from both Swami Chinmayananda and my guru, Savai Subramanya Swami. I think you will conclude this is the text of the talk. What I did a number of years ago, which is that their ideas and styles of expression are quite similar. In fact, I envision that if you had a stack of quotes from each of them and mixed the stacks together, you would not be able to tell which guru which made which statement. Very interesting, but it's true. Sometimes their wording is so similar. Happiness is something that everyone wants to achieve in life. In our modern world, the popular expectation is that happiness automatically comes from achieving one's professional and family goals. Many adults have told me that they are surprised that even though they have, after many years, achieved the professional and family goals that they thought would make them happy, they find they are not happy. Chinmayanandaji has a relevant quote. The tragedy of human history is decreasing happiness in the midst of increasing comforts. Isn't that amazing? Take countries that have totally transformed. What it's saying is a place like Singapore, just hosting us, lots of increase in comforts. Last 50, 60, 70 years, but this is predicting that there was a decrease in happiness. Webster's dictionary tells us that happiness is the emotion evoked by success or by the prospect of possessing what one desires. This is the same as last time, so I won't comment. A reflective person knows that this kind of happiness is fleeting when we finally possess what we have been desiring. Somehow the happiness soon fades, and before we know it, we are back to our dissatisfied self again, desiring something new to give us that elusive happiness. Till we get happy, of course, but it doesn't last. And we have our happy person here with a new car. Eventually the charm wears off. Oh, now we have a new quote. Swami Tejo Mayanandaji. We go on searching for joy. We go on searching for objects one after the other, thinking, now I will be happy. No, you cannot be happy with these temporary objects. You can be happy only when you find the source, capital S. There is no joy in finite things. Our happiness will be time-bound if it is based on finite things. That which is infinite will give you happiness. The source is infinite. Only there will you find happiness. Nicely said. Being surrounded by family and friends is important. Natural positive state to live in. However, the problem comes if we count on them to make us happy. We want to have the happiness come from inside ourselves and then share it with them all. They appreciate that too, and we're not obviously counting on them to cheer us up. Similarly, we should never fall into thinking I'm unhappy by myself somehow. If I get married, if I have children, or if I have lots of friends, I will be happy. So same idea, doesn't last because we are a creature of habit. Whatever our habit is, if our habit is to be unhappy, even though we're married and everything's going well, we will return to that habit after a medium period of time. Then we have a new quote from Gurudeva. Gurudeva has a relevant quote on this concept. To give love, we must become independent in ourselves and be a pillar in life for others to hold on to us. Such an individual who needs no crutches for his own existence alone can have the power to give love. All others are receivers of love. Isn't that nice? The idea of giving love. And to be able to give love, we can't depend on others. Needs no crutches for his own existence, meaning he doesn't depend on others to make him happy. Then we get the doctor and the dad. I won't read it all. But the basic idea, of course, was husband and wife are doing their best to make grandpa happy and take care of him, and he's always critical and angry. And they don't know what to do. Oh, then the answer I gave, which you'll recall, is that we have to do the right thing. We fulfill our duty to the best of our ability. We try to cheer the parent up, but if the parent doesn't cheer up, doesn't lessen the punyam, doesn't lessen us feeling good that we did our duty. So we can feel good about it, even if it doesn't cheer the other person up as we had hoped. We did our best. And that's what the next slide says. You should not let your father or mother's negativity, depression, and criticalness be contagious. Then we have a new picture here. Unhappy girl. Look, our daughter didn't follow my good advice despite all my love and attention. She hates school and is still doing the same old stupid things. Parents feel sad, but why should they? Wiser approach is to feel that you have done your duty to the other family members and earned good karma by doing the right things in a loving way. Therefore, there is no need for their negativity to prevent you from being happy. Just as we don't have to be ill if those close to us fall sick. I like that one, which is my wording. We don't have to be ill if those close to us fall sick. We can learn a lot in this regard by thinking about what a guru experiences. Gurus such as Swami Chinmayanandaji and Gurudeva gave a great deal of advice and loving attention to their devotees over the years. If a guru became unhappy every time someone didn't take his advice and respond positively, he would have been terribly unhappy. However, as we know, each guru enjoyed life and didn't become an unhappy person just because the advice wasn't followed. Then we have a quote from Chinmayanandaji. Don't put the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket. Meaning, of course, you're depending on them to make you happy. Oh, that's my favorite Swami Chinmayanandaji quote. Don't put the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket. We have a statement on the transient nature of the world from Gurudeva, Dancing with Shiva. True happiness and freedom cannot be found in the world, for earthly joy is inextricably bound to sorrow, and worldly freedom to bondage. So don't look in the world, because it's short-lived. Same idea is echoed by Chinmayanandaji. He who depends on chances and situations to be happy is a sansari. Same idea. The world cannot provide us with true happiness. Where then can we look? Fortunately, Vedanta philosophy provides us with the answer. There's a little movie here. Just to look within, to claim the spiritual happiness that is inside of us, in our inner self, in our soul. This happiness has a Sanskrit name, Sahajananda. Sahaja means that which is inherent, innate, or natural. Ananda, as we all know, means bliss. Thus we could translate Sahajananda as our inherent happiness. So I like having a name for it. Inherent, Sahaja, happiness, Ananda. Sahajananda, inherent happiness. So that's what we want to learn to experience. And that, of course, is done through being in the fourth chakra, Anahata chakra. We're above the ordinary states of emotion and thinking, and we can be in a state of happiness. And we have Gurudeva's quote. Gurudeva comments on this idea. Learn to be happy by seeking happiness not from others, but from the depths of the mind that is happiness itself. Knowing that happiness is already part of our inner self is useful knowledge, but does lead us to the question, how can we experience that inner happiness? Fortunately, Vedanta philosophy provides us guidance on this as well. Gurudeva refers to what is the simplest method for experiencing inner happiness in saying, allow yourself to be kind. That's really good, huh? His full quote is, allow yourself, ask yourself, am I happy or am I looking for others to make me happy? Allow yourself to be kind. Allow yourself to express the qualities, the beautiful qualities of your soul. Your happiness then will come from within yourself, along with a deep contentment and inner peace and joy. Only a moment of thinking kindly about someone and making a plan that will enable you to help your fellow man, even just a little bit, will awaken from your soul that deep inner satisfaction, that depth of security you are really seeking. On the other hand, if you allow your mind to dwell in the realm of critical thinking, in the realm of gossiping without the thought of helping others, you will feel insecure, unhappy. Nothing that could happen will bring you an inner satisfaction. You will be constantly desirous of acquiring, and that which you do acquire will not be satisfying to you. Why? Because there will be no love in your heart. If you find yourself in that state of mind, turn the energies around and find the quietness within you through being kind, being generous, being helpful. The doing brings its own reward. Only in the accomplishment of being big enough to understand the experiences of life that others go through, being tall enough to overlook the many, many things that you could take issue with and perhaps retaliate for, only in acquiring that depth which comes from your soul and the Anahata chakra, can you truly find inner happiness and peace. There are many forms of giving, and I encountered an interesting one I would like to share with you that relates directly to Chinmaya Mission. December 2006, we met with the Yuva Kendra of the Chennai Chinmaya Mission, some 35 youth in all. We all fit in one hotel junior suite, too, all 35 of them. They were really packed in there. We had an hour-and-a-half discussion on the marvelous programs of the Chinmaya Mission. The main discussion topic was their 2-year service program for youth. The program starts by going for 4 to 5 months training, and then you serve in one center or another for the next 15 or 16 months. One after another, youth testified how the experience had completely changed their lives, making them aware of themselves as a spiritual being with a spiritual purpose. I asked them if they had come into the mission because of their parents. Their reply surprised me as they said, it was the other way around, meaning that their parents joined the mission after the youth became involved. Imagine that. It was a very encouraging meeting, showing me that the Hindu youth of India have the potential to develop into a powerful spiritual force in their own right. Sorry for the picture, it's not very good focus, but it gives the idea. 2006 there in our GST Grand down in Chennai. So that's very interesting, and one of the reasons it works, just to comment, is scale. They have enough kids to make this work. It takes a large number of kids to get a group that's from no large number that wants to do a 2-year program. If you have 20 kids, you don't have enough to generate something like this. Conclude with another story. A few years ago in Sydney, Australia, I was scheduled to give a seminar to the youth group of the Murugan Temple. A few weeks ahead of time, they sent me a question to be sure to include as part of the seminar. The question was, what is the relevance of Hinduism to the modern society? This question is not uncommon and is usually being asked by a Hindu youth in his or her late teens or early 20s. The reason the question is being asked, of course, is that the youth thinks Hinduism has no relevance to modern society. It's for village life. When we moved out of the villages, we don't need Hinduism anymore. Just like we don't need wells. I actually have a number of different answers for this question. One of them is the subject we just discussed, happiness. Certainly happiness is something that everyone wants to achieve in life, and therefore it seems a solid answer for showing relevance. So, answer. Clearly, one of the reasons Hinduism and its Vedanta philosophy is relevant to life, to modern life, is that it provides us both with the philosophical knowledge that inner happiness, sahajananda, exists within us, within our soul, and also gives us practical methods or tools whereby we can actually experience that happiness in our lives. To conclude this talk on happiness, consider beginning the regular practice of reflecting on your state of happiness or unhappiness. If you find yourself being unhappy, let go of the cause in the outer world that is the source. Change your perspective to the mystical one, that happiness is always within us. Then claim your inherent happiness through finding additional ways you can give to and help other people. And we have our two statements in closing. David, if you want to attain happiness, make others happy. Chinmayanandaji, happiness depends on what you can give, not on what you can get. Very similar statements. And this one is a humorous ending. Sometimes Chinmayanandaji's quotes are very humorous. The culture give happiness wherever they go. Try that again. The cultured give happiness wherever they go. The uncultured whenever they go. Very nice ending. Okay, then we get to questions. Did you notice what was stated differently in this version of the talk? Probably heard a word you haven't heard in many of the talks. It's a key. The ideas presented were attributed to Vedanta rather than to Hinduism. So in the Chinmaya materials, they're constantly talking about Vedanta. Occasionally they talk about Hinduism. You know, they are Hindus. They're not Hindus, but they really stress the Vedanta and the universality of Vedanta a lot. So, of course, we don't do that in our own material. The original version gave 3 ways to achieve happiness. This gave only one. What 2 were left out and why? This is a good question. The blessings of the deity in the temple and meditation, because these practices are not stressed by Chinmaya mission. So we don't try, when we go to some other organization's place, we don't try and put forth our standard ideas in the standard way. We try and talk about what we share, points of agreement, so to speak. So Chinmaya mission does not talk much about the blessings of the deity in the temple and about Raja Yoga type of meditation. So these were the slides in our presentation that we didn't include. The monistic or meditative way is to turn within in meditation, go deep into the lotus of the heart, and experience our inner self, our inner light, our spiritual energy that makes us truly happy. That's a wonderful way. So they're not trying to experience inner light. They're more philosophically based, jnana yoga. There's also the theistic way. We can come to the temple and open ourselves to the blessings of the deities. we come in an unhappy state, receive the blessings, and go away uplifted and happy. So the way we did include in both talks was doing something for other people, trying to make them happy. So that's common. So that's the one I stressed. It was the only one I presented in terms of a practical method. At the beginning of the talk, I mentioned throughout the talk, I will be including quotes from both Swami Chinmayanandaji and my Guru, Sahaya Subramanya Swami. I think you will conclude what I did a number of years ago, which is that their ideas and styles of expression are quite similar. In fact, I envisioned that if you had a stack of quotes from each of them and mixed the stacks together, you would not be able to tell which guru made which statement. So that's a true statement. However, this is true only when they are both talking about the ultimate goal, Vedanta, Advaita, the oneness of man and God. So it has to be quotes on that subject in order for them to sound the same. They differ a great deal when talking about bhakti yoga, worshiping in the temple, and the importance of the grace of the deity. Really important difference there. So you get a sense. You can understand Gurudeva's teachings better by comparing it to similar teachings and seeing where it's the same and where it's different. It gives you a sense of better understanding of certain aspects of it. So as we say many times, we're monistic theists. Practice is a combination of meditation and devotional worship. Put them together. Second subject. Oh, we're starting a new topic. Brief introduction to the concept of Hindu solidarity. And we're drawing this introduction to Hindu solidarity from Living with Shiva. And I thought we could do a few sessions on the idea of Hindu solidarity. All of you, I'm sure, are not totally familiar with Gurudeva's idea of a Hindu solidarity, a Hindu solidarity and what it means and what it doesn't mean. So we can look at that a few times from different angles. This is an introduction. Now we come to Hindu solidarity. I call it solidarity in diversity. Diversity is the key word. Solidarity and diversity is really a better term than unity and diversity. Just like the mosaic is more accurate than the melting pot. In America, we have Shaivite Hindus, Vaishnava Hindus, Shakta Hindus, Smarta Hindus, Liberal Hindus, Agnostic Hindus, and Anti-Hindu Hindus, all working together for Hindu solidarity, a grand Hindu front competent to master and reform Hinduism today. Not the magazine. Lowercase t, Hinduism today. There are different theologies, different philosophies, and different scriptures for each of the various Hindu sects. We do not have 33,500 divisions to deal with like the Christians, but we do have a few major ones. So sometimes individuals complain to me that why can't Hinduism be as simple as, say, Christianity? One God, this and that, really simple. They don't realize to Christians, Christianity is not that simple. They have 33,500 different sects of Christianity. There are lots of different ways of looking at things. 33,500, amazing. Some liberal Hindus would like to get rid of these, but there is no reason why in America and the other countries of the world the major Hindu sects cannot live in harmony. Many Swamis join with me in this thinking, as do other Hindu leaders. They know that unity does not mean sameness. Sameness in religion is not healthy, not natural. Sameness is a most common, dull, uninspired, and unenlightened solution, for it reduces that which is vital with differences, rich in philosophical interpretation and background, to a common denominator. Such a solution would be very harmful to Hinduism in the world, And many of us are firmly against that idea. Hinduism has always taken pride in its broadness. All of history proclaims this to be true. In this most advanced age of civilization, shall we abandon that lofty view? Shall we take a sumptuous feast with its rich variety of curries and chutneys and dals and stir it all together into an unappealing stew? Certainly not. I certainly hope not. So that's our introduction, and you can see that the idea is we want to avoid sameness. Sometimes I've gone to conferences and everything seems fine, and then there's some sameness initiative that comes up. The one in the U.S. is we should put the Bhagavad Gita in all the hotel rooms in America. Because in America you have the Holy Bible in all hotel rooms, Christian scripture. In some parts of the U.S., you might have the Mormon scripture. So they want to add the Bhagavad Gita. So, of course, the Bhagavad Gita is not Shruti, Smriti. It's a Smarta and Vaishnava scripture. It's not a scripture that Saivas and Shaktas follow. So they don't understand that. They don't understand that if you want a common scripture, it has to be the Vedas. Oh, thank you very much. Oh.